edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by shiresilver.com/Ridley. Credit where credit is due. This idea comes from a Free Stater hater. That's actually not a Free Stater hater. It's me trying to look like a Free Stater hater.
Come on, get up.
What are you people doing?
A little louder so they can hear you more. Louder, louder.
Anyway, there are plenty of real acts of violence and threats of violence that are levied against New Hampshire liberty activists. I thought it might be useful to put them all in one place. One website that chronicles uncontested, documented cases of abuse, or at least acts of violence and threats. Of course, now I have a somewhat broader definition of violence than some folks might. For instance, I consider this to be a violent act. Maybe you don't. Many violent acts, of course, are carried out legally, because the authorities feel they need to use some degree of violence for one reason or another. The type of violence that we're really concerned with here, though, is aggressive violence, where the state is initiating the use of force on someone who's not accused of initiating force or fraud themselves. The other useful thing would be to scan web forums and the comments section on unionleader.com, for instance. There you can find all kinds of wild things. I even found a death threat there the other day. I'm not positive that all that counts unless you can verify it in some way, since it's kind of anonymous. I guess if the identity of the writer could be confirmed and their status as a pro-government person, then that might be of interest. But, you know, as I was tracking the Ed and Elaine Brown standoff up in Plainfield, New Hampshire, the tax protesters, this approach was useful to me. I counted the number of times the authorities used some sort of force, and I counted the number of times that the Ed Brown supporters used some sort of force. Of course, the government used force many more times, but I'm not saying they did it in an illegal manner. Ultimately, that doesn't matter as much as whether they did it, because a thing can be perfectly legal and still be wrong. So I don't know, what would we call a website that catalogs and documents and proves all the different cruel deeds perpetrated upon our friends? I don't know, maybe freestaterhaters.com? I'm not sure. But a documented act of violence, or aggressive violence against us, really, I think, is even more useful than a success. Because it brings the right kind of people here. It inspires the right kind of people to move. The ones who come because they're courageous, not because they just want more freedom. Just remember what Napoleon said. The most desirable quality in a soldier is stamina. Valor is only secondary. This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by shiresilver.com/Ridley. The better bullion, hard to lose, easy to stick in your wallet, and now easy to test as well. Available in various denominations from the silver gram to the gold half gram. This one, for instance, is worth about half a loaf of bread. This one is worth about 10 gallons of gas. It's not your mother's money, it's precious metal, and most Free Staters accept it as payment. shiresilver.com/Ridley.